Selected from thousands of applicants, 11 dedicated gamers match skills in a series of challenges to earn the chance for a job at PlayStation.
In 2010, Sony PlayStation set out to prove that some gamers would do anything for a job in the gaming industry. They did this by making The Tester, a reality TV show where the grand prize was $5,000 and a job at Sony as a QA tester. The show is an incredible microcosm of gaming culture and reality TV. It had many weaknesses, but there was one fundamental flaw at its core that it was never able to overcome. A flaw not only in the show's structure, but in the idea of the gamer dream itself. Welcome to Game Arcadia, the peak of gaming culture. I'm Jenna Stieber, and I'm unearthing the weirdest behaviors in video game communities. Why me? Well, I have a master's degree in media and culture, and a job where I spend all day playing video games, which makes me the Oracle. In the early 2010s, both Microsoft and Sony were experimenting with non-game content on their consoles, like game trailers and streaming Netflix movies. Microsoft partnered with web series The Guild to premiere on Xbox Live before airing anywhere else. Sony had an even more ambitious idea: produce a new show just for the PlayStation Network, something that appealed to the people already paying $50 a year for the subscription, something for the gamers. The Tester was released in 2010 and inexplicably got 3 seasons, with increasing levels of budget and banality. It was only available to watch on the PlayStation Network, making it the first live-action TV show to air exclusively on a game console. And the thing is, that's brilliant. It absolutely could have been a history-defining moment. In the late 2000s, it was beginning to look like the future of TV wasn't on the television. Netflix launched its online streaming service in 2007, with Hulu walking in its footsteps in 2008. Insufferable people were constantly bragging that they didn't even own a TV anymore. Sony was ahead of the curve here. Setting up the PlayStation Network as a television network in 2010 would have made them a major power in the upcoming streaming wars. Unfortunately, The Tester was an absolute wet plop of a show to launch with. It was so slapdash that journalists found what seems to be an ad for the hosting position on Craigslist. That ad was presumably answered by regular host Meredith Molinari, who honestly does a great job. No notes. It was produced by 51 Minds, a company that specialized in celeb-reality. They're best known for The Surreal Life and Flavor of Love, and they knew how to make the kind of schlock that gave reality TV a bad name.
Whoever that was.
Structurally, The Tester was a classic reality TV show competition. Contestants were pitted against each other in various physical and mental challenges, judged by a panel consisting of Brent Goki, Sony's release manager for quality assurance, comedian Hal Sparks, and a guest judge from Sony. During the show, they lived in the PlayStation loft, which had one big room filled with IKEA beds. What it lacked in basic privacy, it made up for in free-flowing liquor.
Who wants to have Burials?
The ultimate prize was a $5,000 signing bonus and a gamer's ultimate dream job as a quality assurance tester at Sony. As soon as the show was announced, this was a point of ridicule. QA testing was a grueling job that involved ramming your face into the same problem over and over till it breaks or you do. They do not just get paid to play video games. In a strip dunking on the Tester's concept, Tycho of Penny Arcade explains that a friend of his did QA testing on the Xbox, and it involved him opening and closing the system's drive tray all day. QA testers were paid minimum wage, were the first to be laid off, and were treated like the lowest rung on the ladder, all while suffering the same crunch as other game employees. Upward mobility was rare. A tester writing in 2010 was told by his manager that he'd have to do QA at least 4 more years before he had a chance of moving up. It's also one of the most critical parts of game development. The game industry could not function without them. All of these reasons are why QA testers are some of the first in the gaming industry to unionize. Well, that and they're experts in breaking bad systems. Anybody who knew anything about game development understood that this was a terrible prize, and it wasn't even a full-time job, it was a contract QA tester position. It's like if the prize for winning a cooking show was a position as a dishwasher that you had to move cross-country for and which only lasted 9 months. The tester is framed like it's a long, weird job interview. Each challenge is set up with a dumb little pitch about how it's testing some relevant skill.
Now, to be a great game tester, you must possess a healthy imagination and the ability to thrive in any situation. So, today, you'll all be LARPing.
At no point do they actually dig into what a QA tester does, other than looking for errors in a game. I'm pretty sure not even the contestants know.
I love to play video games already. I can get paid to do it. Everything is falling into place.
So the challenges never rise above generic team-building exercises and the kind of obstacle courses you find at a public school after prom. The judges take the job aspect of the show very seriously, while also being clearly aware that the QA job sucks. Frequent guest judge David Jaffe, director of God of War and Twisted Metal, tells contestants that he got started as a tester, and that this is a great place to rise up in the company ranks.
No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
Jaffe started as a QA tester in the 90s. He literally went straight from tester to game designer because there wasn't much in between. It's like when your parents tell you to just walk into a business and ask for a job. They'll start you in the mailroom and you can work your way up. Businesses haven't had a mailroom in 20 years. The judges are explicitly looking for somebody who will be employed at Sony. They never let you forget that they're looking for a serious candidate. In the very first challenge, contestants must spot the difference between two images. You know, classic QA tester stuff. Doc, one of the more charismatic members of the house, cracks a joke mid-puzzle.
I'm hungry.
He does well, but at elimination, the judges ask why he wasn't focused on their carefully prepared Highlights magazine puzzle. He explains that he was trying to crack a joke, you know, for the TV show he's on.
I was really hungry, though.
The judges hate this.
There's a time for jokes, but there's a time to be serious and buckle down.
He's not eliminated, just shamed.
Doc is the kind of guy that likes eating Cheerios for breakfast. When it comes to working at PlayStation, they might want you to just have cereal.
The judging is based less on the scores and more on secret, secondary standards that are apparently relevant to the job, but aren't made clear to the contestants or audience. In episode 2, Fangirl leads her team to undeniable victory in a communication challenge, but she's still scolded by the judges.
Fame Girl, I think, probably had the worst communication issue this entire game.
If that were true, how did her team win? In the next episode, Fangirl is eliminated for not falling during a ball catching exercise, according to David Jaffe.
It's not Fangirl's fault that she didn't have an opportunity. I mean, she didn't fall. That doesn't mean she doesn't have the colors to show. It just means that she didn't fall. Maybe you should have fell.
It's extremely stupid and unfair.
No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
This ambiguity allows them to vote off whoever they want, whenever, for whatever reason. Of course, all reality shows are manipulated for entertainment, but it's extra weird in the tester.
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Because the prize is a real job, the finalists have to be viable job candidates. All of the contestants had to undergo interviews and evaluations just to appear on the show, which is likely when the people at Sony decided who they really wanted to hire. And then they make that person, or possibly top 3 people, go through the whole goddamn show to get hired. The challenges are just a cruel formality. In the second to last episode, the contestants have to memorize a self-defense fighting game combo, because arm bars are an important QA skill.
This challenge, it makes a lot of sense. They're testing on memory. They're actually testing us on the skills that we'll need for the job.
Cyrus, the clear frontrunner, does worst in the challenge by a lot. Except he was supposed to win. You can actually see an attacker gesture to his eyes when Cyrus hesitates. Star, who you might recognize from WCG Ultimate Gamer, is eliminated instead, so the top 3 are Amped, Cyrus, and Nauseous. In the final episode, Nauseous highlights the weirdest part of the tester.
Coming into this show, I was expecting more of us actually playing on the consoles.
None of the challenges involve playing an actual video game until the final part of the final episode, which is just a mess. The second stage is a puzzle, but the pieces are just stacked up on a barrel. They even highlight it in the video because it just looks like set dressing. Nauseous and Amped missed it and presumably had to be routed back by the production team. After completing a few puzzles, they're driven back to the judging warehouse to beat a level of Uncharted 2. Cyrus wins. It's clear that not a single video game designer, expert, or fan was involved in the puzzles or level design of this challenge. The tester feels like somebody's passion project, but underfunded and neglected by Sony. It's a show intended for gamers, with bad puzzles and no video games. This is somewhat corrected in Season 2. The loft is still just an open room of beds, but now it's decked out with PlayStation products and full jugs of liquor. The prize now includes a PS3 game system and a Sony 3D television. Remember when 3D TV was the next big tech innovation everyone was pushing? With this increased budget and commitment from Sony comes an increased amount of reality show bullshit from 51 Minds. They tossed Hal Sparks over for Adrian Curry, the first winner of America's Next Top Model and one of the first celeb reality stars. The first season had 11 contestants, this one had 12, thanks to a competition where fans voted a contestant on. It's 8-Bit Mickey, who you might recognize from Channel Awesome.
8-Bit Mickey!
But the most egregious reality bullshit in Season 2 is Big Physique. Big Physique's main argument for being the next tester is that he owns a lot of games.
I spent over $1 million in gaming.
He's very bad at all the challenges. In the first episode, a game screenshot or cover is revealed piece by piece until they guess it. He only escapes elimination because Alpha Bro Maxim couldn't identify Heavy Rain when the screen looked like this.
Pass.
Big Physique is at turns dismissive and aggressive.
I own 1,000 times more games, software, and systems than you ever had in your entire life. Right, yeah, but I'm just saying.
And much of the first half of Season 2 is just this.
I don't care if you talk.
Out of this house!
For some, people screaming so loud they peak microphones is compelling. It's good reality television. In episode 4, War Princess is a responsible adult and squashes her physique beef because they're on a team together. They do well in the challenge, but everyone still hates him because he's toxic and doesn't seem to know all that much about games. The tension comes to a head in episode 6. The challenge is about making decisions under pressure, so of course they have to eat wasabi and drive around a go-kart track. War Princess's inability to cram crackers costs her team the game, while Big Physique's team wins immunity. Her teammates try to comfort her, but Big Physique sees this as an opportunity to attack.
I'm gonna go provoke some more. Huh? I'm gonna go provoke. Her? Yeah. What do you want? What more do you want? I know, it's just fun. Look at her, man. She's crying. No. That, bro.
Shut up! For the love of God, I'm so sick of your mouth!
The ensuring screaming was heard by everyone, including guest judges Nauseous and Cyrus. Big Physique is good for a reality TV show because he's loud and lacks emotional awareness. Those are also the qualities that make him a bad coworker. So do you keep him on because he causes drama, or kick him off because he'd be a bad employee? Despite having immunity, Big Physique is kicked off this episode after the other contestants complain about his behavior. For fans of Big Physique, and I'm sure there were some, this was a betrayal of the reality show format. For viewers that took the job interview framework seriously, this should have happened many episodes earlier. They also vote off War Princess, because everyone knows if you can't eat a plate of dry crackers, you have no place in the video game industry. Big Physique was so obnoxious, he was actually accused of being a plant. I can't say for sure. What I can tell you is that Big Physique, aka Greg D'Agostino, is an actor with a long IMDb page. He even had a line in The Sopranos.
For the record, though, the car thing was a hit and run.
I think that if he were just being himself, that might have come up in conversation. The only reason it might not is if he were hired as a plant to stir up trouble. That said, after the show aired, he did harass Gamer, so he might have just been like this. Gamer is the only one who comes out of this drama looking good.
Just because someone isn't easy to work with doesn't mean you can't show character by working with them.
Gee, I wonder who's gonna win this season, the well-spoken team player or Mo Chocolate, a sweet and talented guy who's openly laughed at for bringing his tap shoes to the competition. It's Gamer. Gamer wins this season. And this divide between job candidate and reality TV bait gets significantly worse in season 3. The prize this time is $5,000 and a job at Santa Monica Studios as a production assistant. What does that mean? What other duties? Is it still a contract position? It's never explained on the show, but the winner later stated that the official title was actually production intern And yes, it was a contract position. They also win a Ford Focus, which the producers used to jump scare us during establishing shots. Thanks to this Ford sponsorship, they can finally afford walls in the bedroom area, and full kegs.
Who wants to have Birrios?
Sony is genuinely lucky they shut this show down before there was an incident. Because the job is even less explicit, the justifications for the challenges are likewise weaker.
And since game development is a sink or swim industry, you will use that ball to try and dunk your opponent in the tester dunk tank.
Unfortunately, Sony has finally grasped the product placement opportunity, like when Nolan North visits the loft.
This is my new book, Uncharted Drake's Journal. This is all the behind the scenes.
Do Nathan Drake voice.
This is the Nathan Drake voice.
And they all play the yet-to-be-released PlayStation Vita. The challenge in episode 2 is Twisted Metal themed, so they have to assemble a go-kart, drag it along a track, and shoot targets. And they have to be dressed up as clowns to do it. Up for elimination are Asuka and Suze Kaiden, who everyone dislikes for being loud and energetic, but who does not have credits on 17 episodes of Life on Mars. Asuka's main defense is that Suze Kaiden spoke Spanish at one point during the challenge. Asuka is eliminated.
No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
No, actually, I'm on Jaffe's side for this one. Everyone rags on Suze Kaiden for wanting to be the center of attention, but as Ego Raptor succinctly puts it,
everyone was like, oh, she's an attention whore. And it's like, so? She's on TV.
Yes, that was Aaron Hansen from Newgrounds and Game Grump fame. We'll get to him. Suze Kaiden was never going to get this job. You can tell from the first episode who's a serious job candidate and who isn't. Let me show you two contestants. Try to figure out which one is on the show to be entertaining and which one is there to be hired at Sony.
I fly security for dignitaries and VIPs. My plan is I'm just gonna sit back, observe, and conquer.
I'm trying to control myself, but the energy is overwhelming me.
This makes the season pretty uncomfortable to watch. Sky Diddy seems like a great, fun, creative person. He doesn't know he's been cast as fodder.
I'd have developed a different kind of sense as I'm in the sand. I'm in Hades' world. I was low-key cheating because I seen with the third eye right above my brain.
And the judges, who are ostensibly professionals conducting a job interview, make insanely rude comments to him.
I love your passion, very enthusiastic. But I'm wondering, is that a character? Are you like that all the time?
I couldn't believe that you'd made it this far based on today's performance, because it's like, you got glasses and you had a suave hat, now you have a funky hat, and it's like, are you just comic relief?
Even when Sky Diddy succeeds, he's scolded for it. In episode 6, everyone fills out a questionnaire about the remaining contestants, which he accurately describes as a snitch survey.
What does that have to do with snitch survey? That's another mystery, man. I don't know.
Then they guess the most common answer for each question, earning time to build a tower. It represents a really important QA tester quality, which is a lack of solidarity and a promise not to form a union. Suze cracks the strategy immediately by just using the stacks as blocks. Achilles, Reality Pales, and Christy Pride copy and iterate on this, making sturdy but underwhelming towers. Sky Diddy does it the intended way and wins because of it.
And the tallest tower by far is Sky Diddy at 9.5 feet. Congratulations, Sky Diddy.
Which the judges throw back in his face.
You did pretty damn good today, Sky Diddy, but there comes a time when you have to know when to stop.
The judges have to set up Sky Diddy's elimination in the penultimate episode because he wasn't intended to be in the top 3. Obvious care was taken each season to stack the cast so that it accurately represents the diversity of people who play games. But when it came to judging, black contestants were treated pretty poorly throughout. In the first episode of season 3, the challenge is to complete a job interview with your head in a box of cockroaches.
Bullshit.
Asha-chan boldly volunteers to go first and discovers that the box does a bad job keeping the bugs in. One is actually found and adopted days later by Quasia-Monster.
I'm gonna name him Gimpy.
Oh, yes.
He's Gimpy because he's got one broken antenna.
Thankfully, it isn't an issue because nobody is bothered by the roaches. They're given an option to tap out if they're uncomfortable, and nobody takes it. J-Tite and Sky Diddy are the most stressed, But both tamp it down admirably for the interview because they really want to work in the game industry, and they think this is how they will earn it. The fan-voted contestant this season was Ego Raptor, aka Aaron Hansen of Game Grumps. He was extremely candid during his interview.
I'm funny, I got an audience, I think I'll pull in the watchers, you know, I'll pull in the viewers, get a lot of new fans from here.
Are you here for the attention, or are you here to actually win the competition?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, you know.
And the judges hate this. He's devaluing the whole concept of their show by drawing attention to the fact that it's a show. Hansen has spoken a lot about his appearance. He originally went on to troll the show.
For like the one dude out there who doesn't know who Nolan North is, he's the voice actor for Nathan Drake in Uncharted. Duh.
But lost heart when he ended up befriending the other contestants. At elimination, they cut Ashley-chan because she was considered unremarkable, even though she volunteered to go first. Ego Raptor is allowed to stay, despite openly refuting the premise. But it was supposed to be a double elimination, and they only have 10 beds, so he has to sleep on the couch. Can't get another bed. That Ford money was already spent on Nolan North's appearance fee.
That's crap. I'm not a fan of this at all.
It's punishment for doing an Ego Raptor ad inside of their Sony PlayStation ad. The producers let Ego Raptor stay because he was right about his big audience. People tuned in explicitly to see him and left when he was booted in episode 3. The show never overcomes the dissonance between the spectacle of abuse and the insistence on professionalism from the judges. When Reality Pales calls on the guy code to get an advantage, the judges scold him for being immature. Yet each season, the producers make the choice to add objectifying comments about the female contestants' appearances. That's the fundamental failure of The Tester. It's entertainment made by a reality TV production company. But it's also a gateway to a real job and potentially a real career. You feel this tension every time they make the contestants dress like clowns or crawl through mud, like job searching isn't demeaning enough. Why did any of the contestants put up with this for a minimum wage contract job at Sony? It's because of the gamer dream. The gamer dream was an idealized version of game dev labor, the idea that because the product was fun, the job must be fun too. It was the ultimate gamer cred, where people who were truly passionate about games went.
I'm a PlayStation tester. I support the others.
Because working at PlayStation is the best!
But the gamer dream wasn't real. There is no job that's just sitting around and playing video games all day, and that includes being a game oracle. And the idea of passion was often used to justify bad working conditions.
You have that passion and that drive, you're gonna move up, you're gonna succeed, because it's hard. It's a lot of hard work, but as long as you love what you're doing, it's not work, you know, you put in those extra hours, and that's what it's all about.
If you fail out, it's not because of crunch or harassment or poverty, it's because you weren't passionate enough. Or exploitable enough. Just put in those extra hours. Around the time The Tester started airing, the gamer dream was significantly weakening thanks to the rise of indie games. The gamer dream was suddenly split into two questions. Do I want to work in the games industry, or do I want to make video games? People who wanted to make video games just got on with it. People who had a nebulous idea about wanting to be in the games industry because it was cool went on The Tester. The lure was that the winner would get a foot in the door and end up climbing the ladder to a better position. And probably the worst part about the show is that it actually worked. Cyrus used most of his prize winnings to move cross-country to work that contract QA testing job. When it was up, he was hired on properly and did in fact work his way up to the role of marketing director. Gamer got a job with Sony Pictures in marketing. He's laid low since then, so it's unclear what he's up to now, which I really respect. Achilles, the clear champion of Season 3, worked as a production intern for just under a year. His contract wasn't renewed, but after another decade of QA work, he's back at Santa Monica Studios working as a combat designer. So deranged as it was, The Tester actually proved all the haters wrong. All you needed to make it in the games industry was a foot in the door, and the dubious fame of winning a reality TV show.